Today I'm going to the rodeo. I've never been to the rodeo before. I don't know what happens at the rodeo, and I'm not sure what to expect. I think there will be cowboys and cowboy hats there. I want to wear this cowboy hat to the rodeo, but it's not my hat to wear, so I can't wear it to the rodeo. Is this the rodeo? A guy on a horse? Or is this the rodeo? A couple horses dancing around and kissing each other. These are questions I need answers for. So with a fishing hat on my head and sunglasses on my face, I embark on my journey to the rodeo, which wasn't a very difficult journey because I sat in the passenger seat and my lovely girlfriend drove. Google Maps guided us, and before long, we arrived at the rodeo. Fellow passengers kick up dust as they funnel into the parking lot, guided by professionals in reflective gear. Are they as excited as me to attend the rodeo? Making sure our shoes are tied before entering, I can tell the rodeo is going to be more than cowboy hats and cowboys. Over the fence, I can see there's multiple Ferris wheels and lots of rides. On the way in, I got stopped because security was suspicious of my camera, but they soon decided I wasn't a threat and let me in. We were handed a schedule for the day's events and sent on our way. Inside the gates, my senses were ambushed by men selling beer and families taking photos. I noticed I'm not the only person with a camera here. I wonder if she also got stopped by security on her way in. The giant wheel was calling to me, and I noticed the contrast between the bored attendant and the exciting ride. I was hoping for a romantic ride in the sky, but we were seated with a father and daughter, which is not romantic, and why I didn't get any shots of the inside of the carriage. From the top, we got a good view of the festivities, and from here it all seemed so small and far away. Miniature people walking around miniature fairgrounds. I felt like a giant hovering in the sky above them. Back on Earth, everything is normal again. Helicopters fly backwards, and adults ride dragons. I knew I would witness my share of horse riding today, so in order to avoid jealousy, we made our way to the carousel. Again, the attendant seemed quite bored. How could someone be in such close proximity to so much joy and still be so bored? I ended up riding a pig, which is not a horse, but is still riding, so I felt like I got that out of my system. It was at this point I started to notice just how many cowboy hats there were. Little kids in cowboy hats, women in cowboy hats, men in cowboy hats, colorful cowboy hats, straw cowboy hats, felt cowboy hats, men with microphones wearing cowboy hats, dogs not wearing cowboy hats, men wearing cowboy hats and riding horses, men wearing cowboy hats, riding horses, and hitting the dirt with a rope. Why is this man hitting the dirt with ropes? He must really not like the dirt. It seemed like everyone but me has a cowboy hat. Everywhere I look, I see a cowboy hat. When I close my eyes, I see cowboy hats. I'm starting to feel embarrassed by my lack of cowboy hat. I feel like everyone is looking at me and laughing because I'm not wearing a cowboy hat. I wanted to get one, but when I checked the prices, it was too expensive for me, so I put it back. I was feeling a bit defeated, like this mother pig feeding its babies. Depleted. I saw a longhorn bull and a guy wearing a helmet, and I'm starting to realize maybe not everyone is wearing a cowboy hat. Feeling hungry after thinking about all the different kinds of hats that exist, it's time for some corn dogs. The longest corn dog on Earth. I've never seen a longer corn dog, and you probably haven't either, but if you have, feel free to send me an email. Now it's time to head into the arena where the main event takes place. I'm trying to get my mind off cowboy hats, but it's all I see when I look around. Maybe not wearing a cowboy hat isn't so bad. It seems like people who are wearing cowboy hats are getting really hot and they need to take off their hats to cool down. I don't feel too hot at all. I feel quite comfortable. Before the event can start, we need to say a prayer and look at this picture of a sunset.
God, we thank you for all of the blessings that we have in our life. And they're blessings that are so easy to see, like our families, our friends, our health. And we know sometimes health sometimes gets a little bit tough. But we do know this too, God, you never abandon us. Thank you for that. We don't like to ask many favors, our lives are predestined, but for this day and every day, would you be with us and watch over our cowboys and watch over our cowgirls, keep them as safe as we can. Take care of the great livestock that we enjoy right here at Rodeo Austin. And while I got just a moment, God, would you do me a favor and lay a blessing on every fan joining us as well. That's about it, God, except that I would like to thank you for one more thing. God, thank you for the greatest gift that has ever been given to mankind. That is the gift of salvation through your Son, Jesus Christ, in whose name I pray. Amen.
After the prayer, a horse rider comes in waving an American flag. Someone sings the national anthem.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
And after the national anthem, a light show and an epic rodeo montage. If someone told me this would happen before I witnessed it, I would think they were making it up. But it happened, and I have the video to prove it. After that, two regular guys wearing red and riding horses come out. They're kind of like the referees for the rodeo. They're kind of like the police of the arena, and they enforce the rules. You'll see here one guy comes out riding all crazy, and the two guys in red are keeping a close eye on him. Pretty quickly, they move in on him and take him off his horse. I think they don't like it when people ride too crazy, and maybe they're not supposed to, because the guys in red are riding very well and responsibly. They show a replay of the crazy rides after they get off the horse, probably so we can all identify them in case we see them later, and tell them not to ride so crazy. Some guys fall off their horse, and that looks dangerous. I hope they don't get too hurt, but maybe they shouldn't ride so crazy. Okay, now we have two guys on horseback chasing a cow, and then one guy jumps off the horse to try to tackle the cow. And if he is able to tackle the cow all the way to the ground, he lets the cow go and stands up. I'm not really sure why. Anyways, next, kids ride out on sheep, and sometimes the sheep just stands still while the child holds on to it, and another guy will try to make the sheep run until the kid falls off. Once the kid falls off the sheep, another adult runs up to the kid and takes them away. The sheep just want to be with other sheep, and the adults don't want these kids to ride the sheep. Maybe they stole the sheep. I don't know. Then we get cow roping. Two guys chase a cow, and they try to get their ropes around both sides of the cow, the front side and the back side. Then, once they do it, they let the cow go. I feel kind of bad for the cow. It's just trying to run, and then it gets roped from both ends. That probably doesn't feel great, and it definitely slows down the cow a lot. Next up, we get more cow roping, except this time they're just trying to rope a cow a little bit, I guess, and then they let go of the rope and let the cow run away. I'm not really sure what they're doing. Maybe they're trying to get the rope to go as far as they can. Then we get more crazy horse riders, except this time they're using saddles, and the cowboys in red are not very happy about these guys either. It seems, saddle or not, they don't like crazy horse riders. They're scared of the crazy horse riders, and they try to get the guys off the horses. I'm starting to think maybe they're working together somehow, and the red cowboys are letting them ride crazy in here just for fun. After that, we get some horses spinning in circles and guys holding ropes. One guy is bigger than the other guy, and so are the horses. The big guy stands up on his horse and spins his rope, and the horse doesn't like this and has a seizure and falls over on the ground. He spins his rope around, and everyone seems to forget about the horse laying on the ground. Then we get more cow roping with a little variation on it. I'm starting to wonder if there might be any ways of putting rope around a cow that these guys haven't thought of yet. Maybe threading cows. Maybe a paper people chain, except for paper people, it's cows and they're being held together with rope. I haven't seen that yet. Maybe that's later. These guys in white don't like that the cows are tied up, so they run in after and untie the cows. Good for them. Maybe someone should stop these people from tying up the cows in the first place. Then a big pickup truck comes in and they take some barrels off the back. Someone on horseback comes in and runs around the barrels and then runs out. The guys in white are very protective of their barrels, and they don't like it when horses run around them because they immediately start raking the ground after to try to smooth it out. They especially hate when the horses knock over a barrel because then they have to pick it back up. They can't seem to ever get the ground good and smooth without another horse coming in to mess it up. Next, a guy brings out a blue barrel and they make a big deal out of it, but they never do anything else with the barrel. It just kind of sits there in the middle. Maybe it's a special barrel. It's their favorite barrel or something, and they like it a lot. Anyways, then the bulls come out with a guy on their back, and they don't seem to like having a guy on their back because they act all crazy. It takes 3 other guys to calm down the bull once he gets the guy off its back, and once it calms down, it leaves. After that, we thank all the horses for their hard work, and then this sparkly band comes out and plays music on a rotating circular stage. And that's pretty much it to the rodeo. There's some big tractors, and then we got back in the car to leave with the other rodeo goers who've seen enough. I leave with a feeling of accomplishment. Now I can say I've been to a rodeo and I know what it's all about. The rodeo is all about people coming together to spend time with each other. And I think that's what life is all about. And life is all about the rodeo. Next time I go to the rodeo, I'm gonna need a cowboy hat.